And today I'll show you how to make the prettiest reusable lunch wraps or sandwich wraps. You need to sew one of the food or drink quilt blocks in the size 6x6. In this case here, I made the popcorn pattern. Then you need to cut your side strips 3.5 by 6.5 inches, and then the bottom and the top strip 3.5 by 12.5 inches. Then you attach the strips to your quilt block, first the sides and then the top and bottom, and square it up to 12.5 by 12.5 inch. Then you cut the fabric for the lining, 12.5 by 12.5 as well. Now it's time to attach the velcro. The hooked part goes underneath the quilt block in the center, and the velvety part goes at the top edge above the quilt block, with the velvet side facing up. Now stitch in place. I added a little flag label and double stitch for extra strength. Now it's time to attach the HeatnBond to the lining fabric. Peel off the paper and attach the sticky part to the fabric. It's not really sticky, it's just not as nice and smooth as the top, but you can still correct it, or in my case I had 2 little pieces of lint and you can always remove that. Then put the paper on top and press at medium heat. This will bond the vinyl to the fabric. Now lay the top and the lining piece together, right sides together, and pin or clip in place. We will now cut off the corners. I measured 2 inches from the edge at a 45-degree angle. You will find a 45-degree angle line on your acrylic ruler. Cut off all 4 corners and clip them in place. Once you're done, you stitch around the whole lunch wrap with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Leave a 3-inch opening for turning the lunch wrap afterwards. I use the needle down feature on my sewing machine. It just makes it easier to turn at the edges. Here you can see the opening of the lunch wrap. Now you clip the corners. This gives you nice and sharp edges after you turn your lunch wrap inside out. Now it's time to turn the lunch wrap inside out. You can easily do that through the 3-inch opening. Make sure you push out all the edges so you get really nice sharp corners. You can also press the sandwich wrap at this point if you wanted to. Now you fold in the seam allowance at the opening and stitch it closed with a very small seam allowance. Since the lining is covered with vinyl, it's best to use a Teflon foot for your sewing machine if you have it. If not, then turn it around so the fabric side is on top and it's easier to stitch. And now you stitch it closed with a very small seam allowance. And here you can see a very small seam allowance, and now it's time to fold your sandwich wrap. You fold in both sides, then the bottom, then the top, and when you turn it over, you see the cutest bag of popcorn. And here are the other ones that I made. One with an ice cream cone, and I used a super adorable ice cream cone fabric for the inside. I made another one with a pretzel, and of course the one that you've just seen here with the popcorn bag. Have fun sewing these cute, adorable, reusable sandwich wraps, lunch wraps. You can use them for any kind of snack that you wanted to, and you can just wipe them off. Now, please, I insist, you have to tell me which one is your favorite. Bon appetit!